So the Ascension qubit is the roots here, right? So this is source self being branched into all these other realities. So there are many products that we make that encompass everything you are as an infinite consciousness, which will mean those three energetics, those three qubit measures that we mentioned in part 1, which is activation, which is earth, gateway qubit, which is air, the element air, and ascension, which is water. So all those three aspects of you, the entire tree. Okay, so, but you can see how, we want to incorporate this aspect that it's a journey. It's you assimilating those new energetics, because you're accessing an expansion here. And as you assimilate that, right, and you become that, right, because that's what Ascension's all about, you here being a representation of that expansion, right? Because it ascends up from the depths within you, very much like, I love to use the analogy of a spring, right? Water comes from an aquifer deep underground in the earth, and it levitates up to the surface to become a spring, right? Very much the same here, right? But the surface, with the spring coming up to the surface of the earth, your energetics, your expansion coming up to the surface of the heart. And we know how much, because the earth is an expression of your heart, right? Okay, this is why we say that everything out here is a fractal of, it's a projection of the original projector, and the projector is you. Okay, what's you as a creative force, always has been. Okay, so now this is another reason why, because back in the day I used to use big, large geometry tools, like this one over here, sacred geometry tools. And I used to, in sessions, hold it up as I do the clearing. If you go back a few years ago in regards to some of the videos here on YouTube and the demos that we did, I was holding a tool, it was a Vesica Pisces or a Merkaba like this, or a Chestahedron, and we'd use that like a speakerphone as an amplification of my intention. Now the reason why I don't use those anymore is a greater sense of what reality is all about, right? Is that when I facilitate these energetics, right, it's not about needing something outside of myself anymore, right? That sacred geometry tool. Sacred geometry is a translation of frequency. Okay, mathematics is a translation of the original format, and the original format is frequencies. So when I facilitate more of my expansion, I'm facilitating the frequencies that become that geometry to begin with, right? It's in me. So hence, when I use my intention and I'm tied and connected into my full expansion, that's all I need. I don't need anything outside of myself. This is the beauty about, this is the enlightening, empowering aspect of this, right? So let's keep going. Now, we'll go to, there are 3 qubits or 3 energetics that are not bound to a spectrum of frequencies or a number of spectrum of frequencies, right? So, as I say, activation, the heart, it's a spectrum of frequencies. Ear element, which is gateway, it's got a number of spectrums, because each generation, each reality is a spectrum in its own right of frequencies, right? They have slightly different universal laws, so hence, for example, magnesium we know in Earth, right? And this one here is going to be slightly a bit different because of its dependent universal law from reality to reality. This is what the science ORME and ORMUS is, right? Where they take an element, right, and they put it under a certain state, and they realize that the molecular structure of magnesium, which originated in magnesium, all of a sudden looks more like silica now. Now, what they came to find there was, we always say the body is as good as the state you provide it, right? It's the precursor of, the function, the behavior, the expression, right? The symptoms of the body. So what they found, why that happened was when that element is put under a certain state, it jumps in and out of dimensional states. So all of a sudden, you're not only just seeing magnesium that's bound to this reality, you're seeing the magnesium version in some of these other realities. Okay? So it's pretty cool. Okay? Now, these three next qubit measurements are within the element air, but they're a little bit more specific to a generation. Okay? And those qubit measurements are called the eye of the Agamotto, right? Which is to do with your insight, which science calls the pineal gland. The ancients called it the third eye. Okay? Another one is the infinite qubit, which is the heart, and the generational qubit, which is the ground. Now, where we use those qubit measurements is in the manifestation trio, which we state as a great tool set to reset your timeline. Okay? And what we've got to understand with the sense of a timeline is we are creators. By moment to moment, as we go about using our superpowers of attention and intention, we are creating our experience of reality. Okay? Which means we are forging a path, a journey, a future, a timeline. So in every moment, there is all possibility because you're infinite consciousness. Okay? So your energy can be invested in a path leading to an outcome. But if your heart is leading that process, which is you as a soul, you as a consciousness, then you're going to continue to create and walk upon your sacred timeline, the path that is in the highest good for you, for your ascension. But if you allow other intelligence to guide and direct you, for example, through mind thought, then you create branch timelines, which is your own energy, but it's feeding towards an outcome that is not in the highest good for you not to ascend, right? For you to fail your ascend. You don't want that. So we've created a product with these energetics that I just mentioned for those reasons. Insight, heart, ground. Because these two here are your greatest guides you can ever have, okay, to create and remain on your sacred timeline, to make sure you're not creating these branch timelines. Timelines or creations that are miscreations, that are destructive, not creative. They're conflicted, they're chaotic, not peaceful, not harmonious. So these rings with those energetics will reset all the branch timelines so that all that's left is your sacred timeline. But you need to do it every day, because if you haven't mastered the ability to open the heart, but more importantly, keep it open, so therefore you as a soul and your consciousness is guiding it, and let's say you slip into here, you're going to start creating miscreation again, right? And these are going to be your best ally until you master that process of remaining down here, falling in love and falling into the heart space, okay? So those energetics are very, very important. And how those three energetics work, right, as I say, insight, heart, and ground, is that insight is part of your attention. Your attention is a superpower, and your attention is with your three eyes, right? So the two duality eyes, right? And duality is a limited state. As I mentioned in the first video, our eyes only see 0.0035% of what can be seen. But this eye sees all, but it's not going to be sight like you know it with these. It's going to be feel, because that and the heart communicate and express through feel. Feel is not bound to limitation. Okay? When we get into problem, when these eyes, and we follow what we see and observe, that's how we're conditioned as the human, when these dominate that's when we get into trouble, when we start creating branch timelines that are not good for us. But when we get into the feeling aspect of our insight, so external sight, it's in the head, insight, and when it's connected to your heart, it's like a rally driver where the heart's behind the steering wheel, and that is in the passenger seat going left, right, guiding it, right? So these two work really well. And the grounding ring is important because now with that guide, we can now ground that creation here, right? That path, that yellow brick road per se. Okay, so that's how that works, okay? Now let's keep going and its relevance to this. The next one is the fire infinity qubit measurement. Now fire infinity is the element fire, right? So it goes beyond source, okay? And as I say, these two here, fire and ether, are feeding your consciousness, okay? So, I tell a lot of people when they start to use this energetic that it can be a little bit turbulent. Because as I say, as we get a new tool, right, when we upgrade, right, we start here, and then we upgrade and we get energetics that are within element air. Then we upgrade again, we go to here. And then we upgrade and we go to fire, right? Because it's a whole process, it's an upgrade. You don't just buy a product from me 2 years ago and say, oh, that's all truly holistic, facilitated, or tense rings for it. No, I don't want you to think like that. Truly holistic, our priority is all about ascension, and if you're an infinite consciousness, we're going to keep evolving. So there's going to be new energetics that keep evolving this process. This is not the end of your expansion. This is just to the limits of what we know at this point in time. Okay, but we're going to learn more. So that energy can be a bit turbulent because it shifts things very quickly. And the center of, for example, the geometry of vortex, that's the geometry of flow. And flow is so important, right? Us going with the flow, being in the flow. Because as we use our attention and our intention, our superpowers, right, which is forging our path, our ascension, which is our state, by the way, right, which is the precursor to how the body will function, we want it to be flowing because the body relies and depends on a state that enables flow. You think about every illness there is, it's usually either down to an obstruction, congestion, or blockage of flow. When everything works well in the body, it's when everything's flowing. Okay? So flow is a very centerpiece of all of this. And as I say, when we get really to these depths, flow happens very quickly. And what I learned about this measurement when I was first getting into it, I overdid it with myself. And I'm the guinea pig. And I went into a fever actually because, but the beauty about it and the lesson that I learned from it, like anything, everything's giving you a lesson if you decide and allow to see it that way, is that what the fever is. The fever's a reset, right? It's enabling areas in your body that have been congested to all of a sudden get into a flowing state, right? And then you get all the symptoms of a fever. That's essentially a purge, right? To try and reset the environment of the body. Okay, that's what a fever is. So you want to take it just step by step and just gradually with particularly the fire energetic. This one, these energetics here within the tree, right, with the water element, the air element, the earth element, they're a lot more subtle. Okay, and you assimilate those, but you'll definitely see massive changes with those, no doubt about that. But this is another level up. So, and then the last energetic we're going to talk about, which is called the eternity energetic, eternity qubit. This is the more recent one, the latest one, is providing the element ether. Okay, and this just goes even more into expansion, more and deeper into what it can provide you as that tree, right? As you as that expansion. And that's in this one I'll wear here, and I have both the wands on me, and we're going to talk about the tools in a minute. It's called the manifestation wand, which we just upgraded recently because it had the first version of the manifestation wand had 2 energetics from the fire element. Now it's got fire and ether in it now, so it's just been upgraded. I wear that all the time. It's been incredibly amazing so far. I've been able to expand my auric field, because the auric field's a measure of how connected you are into your expansion here. And from I think it was about over 250 kilometers is my auric field. Right, as you connect into more of your expansion here, the more your reach here expands. Do you see what I mean? So it's a bit like, let's bring this one here. It's a bit like, an infinity symbol, right? Right? Let's just say this is within you, right? That the middle bit, right? The 0 point's the heart, right? So if you put it like that, right? And that's all your expansion within you, and you're wanting to get that same expansion to be represented here on this plane outside of you. Right? Do you see what I mean? Okay. So that gives you, obviously, because when you're connected to this, yes, it's energy, but it's wisdom. Right? What your variants and the number of variants, lifetimes that happened in all these different realities, you're gaining their insights and wisdom. So you can apply that here. Okay. So it's not just about energy like, oh, yeah, I can run around and jump up and down. It's wisdom. Right? Because one thing about the human that we have been limited through mind thought process is we observe our reality. Right? I'm essentially told that we're just observers and participants, we're not creators, which was all part of the hoodwinking, all part of the game of duality. And then we use a mind thought process to try and get our head around what we're observing, which doesn't give us the insights, because we know out there at the moment that there's infinite sources of information out there, but what we're seeing regularly, and I don't know if you feel the same about this, more people are becoming more confused and conflicted than ever. Because one person's saying this, one person's saying that, one person's saying that. Who do I believe? Which one? Which one or which not? Okay. What we are striving for, what we require, is a greater insight into what we're observing, right? So it gives us a greater sense of what it represents. That's what we need. Now, when we connect to this expansion, that's what that will provide. Greater insight into what you're actually, why you're here, how you use your creative powers, and the things that come into your life, a greater sense of what they represent. So you don't hazardly lose your power, lose your energy through a lack of awareness to the way you respond and react, because that's your power, is how you respond and how you react. You need wisdom. You need insight. You need to understand what reality is. You need to understand who you really are. This is what it's all about. Okay. So I've got that as well as the bigger one as well. I've always got this in my pocket. So, as I say, right, you might not be ready for these. If you're brand new and you haven't got the energetics and wearing something like up here, you need to start here. It's a journey, right? Start here, the earth energetics element, the air, water, fire, then ether. You upgrade as you go along, because you got to see this as accesses. You access the full capacity of your reality here, and then the access of your multidimensional aspect, then the source of you, and then these more expansive energetics that are feeding your consciousness, fire, and then ether. So that's what I really want to emphasize here. So let's get into some of the products here then, right? We've talked about the qubits, the energetics, how they connect to the Ascension Map. So first of all, I just showed you this one, right? This is a pretty brand new product, which you wear as a pendant. Okay. And it's obviously the symbol infinity, right? And it also carries, because a lot of products out there by a lot of people, they make them in an infinity symbol. But the qubit they use is not bringing through the energetics of the infinity symbol. Do you know what I mean? This tool is the infinity symbol, but it brings through the energetics through its qubit measure of infinity itself. Okay, now this one is very much about, as I mentioned before, right, your heart is your 0 point, right? And the key, right, into providing a connection to your expansion, but also to facilitate it here, to be a representation of it, one word, flow. Being able to, everything that you do as being the human being here, doing it in a flowing way, so it represents flow. Okay, whether that's where you place your attention, how you use your intention, how you go about your life, how you respond and react to the things that come into your life. Right? It's all presenting a state of flow that then the body will adhere to like it's a law. It's the precursor of that function. And one thing I must also mention is the things that are in the body, the microbes, also thrive under that state as well. They need flow. They need that sustenance of energy that sustains us as well, which we define as love. Now, so when you wear this pendant with that energetic, it's providing assistance in living in a flowing manner. Okay, so that's got infinite qubit measurement in it, which is not it's more of a specific role. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The Ascension and Manifestation wands. Dowsing rods. Alright. So it took us a really long time to make a dowsing rod because I wasn't happy with what I could facilitate at the time. You know, I just kind of felt, well, we're just making another dowsing rod like everybody else does. And how I see Treaty Holistic, we're a pioneer in this field. So we want to really push the envelope. We want to evolve, right? We want to present something that's going to assist and take someone to somewhere new. That's what life's all about. That's what we're here. Yeah, that's our purpose. Our purpose here is to be a representation of us as a consciousness, not as the human, as a consciousness, to enable to extend its will through the body, because that's what the body is, to extend its creation, because the universal law for consciousness is that consciousness must evolve. Okay? Now, the intelligence that facilitated through mind thought, which is not us, which we'll define as AI, artificial intelligence, even though they're trying to derail and kind of parasitically kind of use our creation ability, right, to create what they want, it's still what they want is part of their evolution. It's just that the energy we would define as fear is more what AI sustains from, which is then going to be a detrimental effect to us because we sustain from love. Okay, but either way, there's an evolution process occurring. It's just that when we facilitate AIs, we're not facilitating our own. Okay, so this tool's a really cool tool. Obviously for dowsing ability, saying what's my yes answer, right, or what's my no answer, right, and also, but you can use this as a wand and direct it into an area to heal areas. So this is a really interesting one because we're using a straight line qubit measurements with the brass tube and the brass rod, but we're also using light technology where we use crystal powders and we anchor the etheric template of the energetics. So, for example, if I wanted to anchor in the gateway qubit, right, which facilitates the element air, right, that's in white here, and that goes into these realities. Yes, we've got a measurement to cut to if we're using twisted wire to create tensor technology, a tensoring, or because I am continuously accessed and connected to this energetic, I can anchor that etheric template into another medium to hold it here, right? As I say, a tensoring is an anchor holding that energetic here. There's other ways, and another way I found was anchoring it into crystal powder. So now we make these products like there's a coaster which has got gold mica crystal powder in that one. This one's got malachite in it for another coaster. So what we do, this particular wand has got facilitating the elements of a number of energetics. It's got earth, it's got air and water, right? So your expansion, but it's also got the three energetics that are connected to the manifestation set, which is the eye of Agamotto, so the insight, right, the third eye, the infinite, the heart, and the generational, which is the ground. So you've got 6 energetics in that dowsing rod. Right. Let's keep going. The reality healer. This is a really cool tool. It's one of the plates that we provide. This is the very first one I made, so you can see that it's patinaed a bit, the copper. So we've got copper and brass in this. Now this is got, I'll just show you one of the wands that we've got, which is called the Ascension wand. That's the Ascension wand there, which is made of a brass tube, a brass rod, and a copper coil, which brings through the energetics of the whole tree. So activation, gateway, and ascension, which is earth, air, water. Okay, so your full expansion is in that one. So just holding it, having it in your auric field, you are facilitating that aspect of yourself. Obviously, the principles of trying to keep your heart open is going to assist that process, because as I mentioned earlier, if we're in the mind and our heart's closing, we can get in the way of these products. As I mentioned, this expansion is not something outside of you. This is you. So when you buy this product and then you hold this, it's not bringing through my expansion into you. It's bringing in that person's own expansion, right? It's enlightening you. It's empowering you, okay? So this is the larger wand, but we do make a mini wand of this version, and that's what we've got in there. You can see 4 of them there, right? All pointing in the middle, creating a cross, right? But we've got one there, we've got one there, we've got one there, we've got there. So we've got amplification of that, of your expansion. Now this ring here that encompasses all 4, that is the infinite qubit, right? And what we know about the infinite qubit, it has the ability to expand your intention infinitely, right? For no boundary or limitation to be applied to it. As I say, as the human, the only boundary or limitation that's applied to anything is by ourselves, by mind thought. That the role of the mind and thought is to limit. To open the heart and get your expansion through it is to expand. Okay? So with this, we're centering all your creative energy in here. And what you do is you write an intention note, whatever you want as part of your reality in the middle, and then this ring enables it to be expanded infinitely on this plane. That is the purpose of this tool, and this is why we call it that, the reality healer, because it might be to manifest your heart's desires and your reality, your experience of reality. It might be to correct the reality, right? To heal reality, right? So, wonderful product. Right. Next one we're going to go to manifestation wand, the other wand. As I say, we've got 2. Just like the Ascension wand, I don't have the miniature one here with me. That's the large one of the Ascension. This is the large one of the manifestation, and this is the miniature one. Okay. So why I made the miniature one is you've got this one, right, which again, as I say, I'm wearing the miniature one, and I even have the large one in my pocket. I wear both of them. But I guess you could see them in different roles here. This one here, you can obviously use it as a wand and facilitate energy into an area, right? Or you can just wear it and it's part of your field, right? Because as I say, these tools have got the energetics bringing through they're quite advanced, right? Because they're bringing through fire and ether. So I would recommend for anybody is when you're getting into my products, you want to assimilate all these energetics first, right? Earth, air, water, right? And even in regards to the infinite, the generational, and the eye of Agamotto that are found within here, before you go to fire and ether. Okay, you see what I mean? It's a process, right? So obviously you can channel direct energy into it. Again, greater description on my website in regards to the product. Again, you want to tie it into the Ascension Map. So this is a wonderful product. These are the energetics of where I am, because I've been assimilating all these energetics for a long time now. And I'm here. This is where I am. Okay. Next one is okay. We're going to look at we've got a couple of products on the website that are products that you can wear as a bracelet. They're 3 interwoven rings, and you can wear them as a bracelet. And I'll show when it's collapsed, you can make it into a sphere. You can also make it into a basket where it brings the triquetra energetic. So I'll show you that now. Now, why I say these 2 that look similar is that they look similar, but when you feel into them, they give off different energetics. There's one that gives off the fire infinity energetic, so which will be the element fire, which is the one I'm just about to show you. The other one that we don't have a tool here to show you that looks similar, and you'll see it on the website, which is called the Generation Calibrator, uses the infinite qubit measurement, right? Which is found within the air element. And why we made one with that measurement, just like I was saying with this, right? This ring, it's got the ability to extend your intention or a crystal or any energetic that you place within its sphere to expand it infinitely. Right? And what I mean by that, I'll show you. So these 3 rings right in here. So you can wear that as a bracelet. Okay? Right? Which is still working on your field, still facilitating, that fire element, right? That highway into it, right? Your expansion's always through the heart, right? So that's going to do that, but you might be wanting to shift calcification or degenerative material that's causing carpal tunnel or causing arthritis in the hand. So that's another good way of using it that way, right? Because it's within the field, the column of the rings. So you can wear it like that. Or you can, turn this around and create a sphere. All right. The cool thing about the sphere, it's creating a 360-degree sunshine effect. So with even though this one's the fire energetic, the fire element, which it's not. This is not so much about extending something out, because this extension's not that far. It's more about quite close. But when you use the infinite measurement, which is the generation calibrator, because this is called the fire infinity trinity. It'll look like this, but it's got a different energy to it. You can place your intention note in here, or just voice your intent into it, or you can grab a crystal and place it in there, and it'll infinitely expand that energetic out. So it covers the house, covers the property, covers your reality. Okay, as a distance tool, healing tool. Really cool. Okay, so that is the fire infinity trinity, as well as the generation calibrator. Now, next one is, this one's the light halo. This is my own one, so you can see that copper is also patinaed. And again, it's a ring, a tense ring, which we've got an oval shape, so you can sit it on top of your head. Like that. That's why we call it a halo. Some people call it a crown. Now, you'll see that these little crystals here, right? Again, very much the same technology that we've got on the dowsing rods, right? Is we use that as an anchor to anchor in the energetics that are found as part of your expansion. So we don't. This ring is cut to a measurement, but that's not the vital component, because all we're using this ring for is to hold space. And when we add the crystals here, which we Velcro onto these little plates around here, that energetic then gets facilitated within that column. So when you've got that on top there, then those energetics are creating a column effect that goes through the head, right? And down the spine. Okay. And the main reason why we made this product was for people that want to improve a meditative state, to silence the thoughts, to remove the mind out of the way. And I must mention it here because I always love to bring this up. Meditation. It's often called a practice of mindfulness. Now, I have a problem with that, and let me explain. When we are doing any form of meditation, okay, general sense of meditation is either we close our eyes or we bring our attention here, right, to be present, right? This is why they say focus on the breath. Okay, yes, we're focusing on inhalation, right? Breathing in and breathing out, but as we're focusing on that, we're focusing on self. We're bringing our self-awareness back, right? Which allows us to fall into the heart. When we get too far out that way, our awareness shifts up to the mind thought and we lose our consciousness. We lose our ability to facilitate our true oneness, our expansion, right? Right? So we get shift in the mind. So hence when we do meditation to bring everything back, we get out of the mind and we get into here. This is why people go, oh, all of a sudden when I'm doing meditation, it enables me to silence the mind, to remove the thoughts, remove the distraction, right? So why we call it mindfulness then? When the realization is the thoughts in the mind are the problem, and that's what we're getting out of the way. So really it's a practice of mindlessness. Now why we call it mindfulness? Because that's a human limited mind perspective. To still connect the word mind with that, when really it is connected to that practice, but in the sense that we don't provide more of it or of the mind, we get it out of the way. Okay? So what this is all about, again, because it's bringing through the energetics of your expansion, which is found here? No, through the heart. Okay? So what you do get is you get, right, earth, green, right? Which is the energetics of activation, which is earth. You get the clear crystal, which is air. You get blue, which is water. Now, this is the older model, which we use shungite, black crystal powder, for fire, but now we're using more of an orangey color to symbolize with this. Just the more recent ones that we've made. But this is a wonderful product. Wonderful. Great for any congestion in the head or headaches or migraines, but more importantly, to get you out of the head and get you down and fall into the heart, right? To get you out of the mind, out of the mind thought, get you back in the heart feel, to enable more of your expansion to come through. Wonderful product. And obviously, when you're not wearing it like this, again, you can place your food or water in the ring, right? Or enable that to connect into its expansion, because this Ascension Map's not just based on us, it's based on everything we see as physical reality. Water, food, other animals. Same applies, same thing. Okay? One distinction I have noticed is when we're dealing with food and water, we don't necessarily use these energetics, we just go to here. So we use the energetics that provide earth, air, and water. We don't go any further than that. For us, when we get to water, there's further expansion to happen with fire and ether. Okay. We also make light grid pyramids. Again, using crystal powder. This has got amethyst crystal powder in it. And we use this as creating a grid. You could grid your bed at night. Right? So when you're sleeping, you're facilitating all these energetics. And the cool thing about this, yes, you're facilitating your energetics, but when we're asleep, right, that's the human perspective that we're resting the body and sleeping, but really as a consciousness, that's our opportunity to travel a bit, which is really what it means is, because travel is connected to distance, and distance is just a human perspective. The key word there is providing access to your expansion, right, in your sleep state, your dream state. These can greatly enhance this when you grid. What I do is I anchor in the energetics that will assist that process, right, to really get your insight firing. So that would be the Ayurveda energetics, and put them into these so you can then anchor your bed and then really enhance your dream state, your sleep state, your travel, your access state when you're asleep. Other ways of doing this, gridding your home with those energetics. So when you're in the home, it's always trying to promote an environment, allow you to drop into the heart, connecting to your expansion, and everybody that comes into your home. Also, gridding your gardens, your veggie gardens, your raised veggie gardens, your plants, right? So the plants can connect into the expansion, which is going to promote vigorous growth, right? For them to become more of their high potential. So these are wonderful gridding pyramids, which we call light gridding pyramids. Now, we showed those before, the light coasters. Again, same principles apply. We've got these crystal powders in here, and we have a variety of different crystals. Gold mica, we've had amethyst, we've got rose quartz at the moment, we've got malachite, we've got lapis lazuli, we've got shungite, even got carnelian at the moment. Got a number of them. So that doesn't, a lot of people will go, what do you think is the best energy for the crystal? Again, what I emphasize, the crystal powder is there, the role it has, it's not its own energetic, it's just that it's an anchor, a holder of more advanced expansive energetics, when we come into this. Which will also connect to the energetic of the crystal, let's say malachite, and enable that malachite to connect to its higher aspects of itself too. Right? Wonderful. So obviously these are great for your beverages, right? Your coffee, tea, water, juice, beer, whatever. It's going to connect those aspects, those ingredients, those things that are in there, in those beverages, again to their high consciousness. Okay, which then you consume, which is feeding your higher aspect of your consciousness. So it's pretty cool. Light pendant, again, part of this is a really people love these pendants. Again, we do have pendants in the tensor ring formats, but some people just like the more cosmetic, aspect of a crystal, a light pendant, which is using crystal powder. Again, same things apply. You can choose what crystal powder you want, and then a lot of the times I'll say to the person that's bought it, I will douse to see what energetics, what part of your expansion you require in your pendant, right? And then the cool thing about a pendant, they're very inexpensive. Plus, when you're wearing them, and you can wear them while you're asleep, they're there 24/7. They're working away all the time. So the smaller products can be more powerful because they're always part of your auric field for longer, right? They're working all the time. And as I say to people, life's about moments, not about just a few moments, it's about every moment, right? And being fully self-aware and getting the greatest potential out of it. So the energetics we usually anchor into this for particular people is usually the earth, the air, and the water. Okay. We also do trio sets of tensor rings, and we call them the neutrality trio rings, which neutrality is to provide a balanced state, which is very heart-centered, energetic. And the energetics we provide in that trio of rings is usually the earth, the air, and the water. So the activation gateway and the ascension. And they'll look similar to this. This is not them, because these bring through different energetics, as I mentioned earlier, but they'll look similar to that. And we have them in sizes about that size, right? And then the next size up is more like that. And then we also make them big practitioner rings as well, which are 8 gauge. The medium size is in 10 gauge, and then the smaller variety is in the 12 gauge wire. So you'll get them up, check them out on the website. Again, you can apply them to your food, to your water. If you're a practitioner, you can place them in certain areas of your body that need healing. A number of ways of using those. That one there, which we showed at the start, that's called the heart activation ring, because as I say, it brings through the activation cue, which is earth. And you can use this product the way I use it is on my shower head. Right, so with the water coming through the piping into the shower head, you put that on there, and what you're doing to the water coming through the pipelines, can remember that water has a certain way it likes to flow. Sometimes the pipes are not enabling the best kind of the water to flow in the way it innately would do, right? If it was in a stream or in a river and those sorts of things. So when it passes through the pipe that this is around, right? So this energetic is going to influence that water. So when that water then comes out of the shower head and hits your head or hits your body, it assists you to drop from the head into the heart as well, which is the perfect start to the day, right? Because I know a lot of people, and I get that too, in the sense that when we wake up in the morning, that we can be a little bit grumpy or let's say not centered. And what better way of getting into center, right, into our heart center, by having this on the water that's facilitated through the shower head. So this is a wonderful product that, I love it, because I always tell people, a lot of my wisdom that's facilitated is when I'm having a shower, right? And I really do believe it's because of this energetic enabling that water to connect to me as a conduit to allow me to open my heart and provide more of my wisdom and my insights through. It's wonderful. Again, very inexpensive. We also make cell phone tabs and electrical plugs. Again, the electrical plug is just a cell phone tab that we connect to a plastic plug so you can connect it in a wall socket. And what that does is it transmutes, neutralizes, and harmonizes all the dirty electricity in the wiring of your home. Okay, so this gets into EMF and those sorts of things. So we shift the chaotic, conflicted energy that's perhaps incompatible to our field, and it's being shifted. Okay, and this is the same thing we do with our cell phone. My cell phone, which I'm doing the video through, so I can't show you, has got a cell phone tab on it, because the cell phone, when it's dealing with Wi-Fi and all those sorts of things, it's creating conflicted, chaotic energy, which weakens your field. Okay, it's more mind-thought energy, which means your auric field will shrink in, and then you'll feel more sensitive and be influenced by those energetics more. So what we do with the cell phone tab, it's not about blocking. It's about flipping it into compatible fields. So again, the energetics within that transmute, neutralize, and harmonize the energetic of the phone so that your phone then becomes something that charges and expands your auric field, right? The complete opposite. Because we understand now, right, the realistic aspects of iPhones and Android phones is we wear them now. They're accessories to part of us now. They're not just a phone we use and we put down. They go along with the ride. They're on our field. They're on our body. So this is essential to be able to have a cell phone tab that you can also use on iPads and devices like that to completely flip the field. So now it's supporting you instead of weakening you. Okay, very important. We also make a Wi-Fi ring, which is exactly the same energetic, the activation, but it's half the size. And you can place that on your router, your modem device. And again, that will just shift that into more of a compatible field if you're worried about 5G, Wi-Fi, and those sorts of things. Also, the Wi-Fi ring, as well as the cell phone tab and the electrical plug, again, they're bringing through the energetics of earth, air, and water as well. A lot of the products do. And there's a few other tools that you'll see on websites, such as that are pendants, but use the tensor instead. I don't have any physically here with me. But they'll have all the energetics on the description in the website as well, which you can associate with this map as well. And we're going to facilitate this more on the website and everywhere as well, because as I say, this is the centerpiece of everything we're doing at Truly Holistic, whether it's in the product range with the tools, the self-empowered healing systems that we put together so you can learn that skill set, so you can heal yourself, heal your family. If you're a practitioner, it's another skill set that you can apply to your clients, as well as the sessions that we do, right? Sentence healing, where we're assisting that person in healing their health issue or manifestation problems, relationship issues, but also we do the reality coaching where that person can bring up a whole lot of questions about their reality to gain some greater insight into what that represents, right? That insight that we're all looking for, but also to learn more about the principles and the laws that are bound to how reality is the way it is, as well as your purpose, your role in providing that reality. So this is essentially very important. Now, the last one I'm going to show you is called the I Am Everything Pyramid. Beautiful. And that's that there, the pyramid. And what you get is that, and you get that. Now, this is called the ascendant. And the ascendant, this ascendant here, is essentially that. Right? So, as I mentioned, right, that's kind of a 2D design of it. But this is rotating. So if I put it like that, these are like wings that are rotating like a spiral galaxy. Now, that's that. Right? So, because what we've got here, right, is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But what we want, we're already in here, right? This is us here. we want to connect into that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other realities. And then you've got source self 7. Now, this is got 3 rings on one side, 3 rings on the other side, and it's encompassed by 1 ring, which is where it all roots from, right? Originates from. So this tool is that. Okay, your expansion, your oneness. And then this here, we bring through the energetics of the earth, air, water, we anchor it into the crystal powder in the apex of the pyramid, and then the length, the straight cubic measure of the legs is fire. Okay, so we haven't got ether in it at the moment, but we may look into that. But we call this product the I Am Everything pyramid because it's bringing through, at that point, all of your expansion. Okay, and the way that you use it, it's a beautiful distance healing tool. You have that like that on your desk or wherever you want it, and you have that sitting over top. And all you need to do is place a photo or the name of the person you want that expansion to be facilitated through so they can be a full representation of themselves. Because you've got to remember, you're bringing through energy. You're bringing through wisdom. But the material for the body to rejuvenate, regenerate, heal itself, heal any problem. The key is the material it requires to do that, and that is energy, and a lot of it, and a constant supply of it. Right? This is what this provides. Wonderful product. And you can also connect this. You can get this product, the I Am Everything pyramid, as well as a set of 4 mini pyramid grids, or grid of pyramids, and I can connect that energetic to this. So you have that there, and if you want to expand that field, you can get that energetic of the I Am Everything pyramid to cover a property or a home by also using these alongside it. So wonderful product. And as I say, this expansion that we're facilitating is bringing through energy, but it's bringing through wisdom. And how it connects into alleviating and removing health problems is this realization, right? There are scientists out there that scratch their head and they see that, hey, our cells are always getting renewed. It's getting replaced. So why are we seeing all these debilitating, degenerative conditions? Why is the aging then? Now, for me, they're looking in the wrong direction. Yes, we know that. The body can do that. It can regenerate, rejuvenate, heal. But we need to dig a bit deeper. We have to realize that, yes, it knows what to do, but like anything, it needs the materials to do it. And that material is a lot of energy. Hence, you need to open your heart, and you need to keep it open, because that's the facilitation of your expansion. Okay? And when you're connected to that, and you have access to that, and hence your auric field is expanded out here, your body's got huge amount of energy, hence the material to enable but prolong and facilitate a process of regeneration, rejuvenation, and healing. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video, this part 2 of the video. I know it's gone quite long. We had to cover a lot of stuff. But I hope that now gives you greater sense or greater insight into why we facilitate this tool range, this catalog of energy tools that is a part of our journey. And it's a system that will continually upgrade as we go along. It's not about buying a product and thinking, well, this is the most that can be facilitated by Truly Holistic for now. No, there'll be an upgrade that you need to go on that is going to be bound to this map, this connection of you. And there's no one else that has this. This is what we facilitate at Truly Holistic. We facilitate more certainty. And this is what we require right now. And certainty comes through facilitating your expansion that facilitates more energy for healing, but more importantly, the wisdom to present the greater picture. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed this content. If you're interested in buying any of these products that I've shown you here, or want to go and read their description and learn more about them, go to my product store at trulyholistic.net/products/. Till next time, catch you later.